clean your plate. Find out the importance of allowing God to cleanse your life in this episode of 5 Minutes Closer. I'm Vaughn Weatherford, and this is 5 Minutes Closer. For the next 5 minutes, let's explore some biblical truths and apply them to your life. No podcast, including this one, can transform your life or give you what you really need. Only Jesus can do that. You can find out why in what I've called the first five episodes of 5 Minutes Closer. Each following episode explores scriptural truths that, if you follow them, will bring you 5 minutes closer to the person God created you to be. Let's see if we can get you 5 minutes closer. One of my first paying jobs was as a busboy in a local restaurant. I learned one thing about the restaurant business very quickly. Customers expect to eat off of a clean plate. One of our jobs was to put out plates and silverware on each table. We had to ensure that the plates, spoons, knives, and forks were all clean. Nothing spoils dinner like finding a piece of last night's broccoli stuck between the tines of your fork. As the Israelites prepared to enter the Promised Land, God continued to speak through Moses to the people. In the final verses of Numbers chapter 33, God warns the people to clean their plate. In verse 55, the Bible says, "But if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then those of them whom ye let remain shall be as barbs in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and they shall trouble you in the land where you dwell, and I will do to you as I thought to do to them." God forgives our sin, so we ought to get rid of it. As the Israelites prepared for the day they would enter the Promised Land, Moses warned them to follow God's commands exactly. God had commanded that they remove the Canaanites from the land. That might sound like a harsh judgment, but it's important to remember some facts. First, God knows what He's doing. Second, no one forced the Canaanites to worship idols and false gods. They made that choice all on their own. They knew of the God of Israel and were aware of what He had done through His people. Just see the reaction of the people of Moab to the nation of Israel in Numbers chapter 22 through 24. Even knowing the power of the one true God, they chose to worship idols. They brought their own judgment on themselves. God knew there could be no compromise among the nation of Israel when it came to idol worship. They were to worship the one true God and Him alone. Compromise with the pagan religions of the Canaanites would bring disaster. They were to rid themselves of even the opportunity to sin. We should do the same in our lives. Anyone wearing contact lenses will tell you it is vital to clean your contacts before you put them in your eye. Contacts are normally very comfortable, but if even a tiny piece of dust is lodged between the contact and your eye, you won't have to wonder if it's in there. In fact, if you've ever seen someone stooped over anxiously pulling on their eyelid, you'll know what happened. Having something in your contact is like a knife sticking in your eye. Anyone who's worn contacts has learned to do everything possible to make sure their contacts are absolutely clean before wearing them. It only takes a few times of not doing so to realize the consequences. God commanded the nation of Israel to go to great lengths to ensure they were clean before Him. They were to remove all forms of false worship from the land as they entered Canaan. We need to do the same thing in our lives. We should be careful to remove from our lives all that might lead us to worship anything or anyone other than the one true God. As God reveals those things that harm our walk with Him, we should seek His cleansing power in our life to get rid of it. Seek to allow nothing to be more important than your walk with the Lord, because now you're 5 minutes closer. My prayer is that these 5 minutes have challenged you, inspired you, and caused you to consider applying God's message for your life from His Word. To find out more, visit our website at 5minutescloser.com. Join me next time to see if we can get you 5 minutes closer.